Jakub Schikaneder, Murder in the House. We are looking at a tragic scene that has taken place in the courtyard of old and neglected houses. Our eyes are drawn to the female figure lying motionless on the courtyard floor. She is lying face down on the ground, wearing a short-sleeved, everyday dress with a skirt that extends all the way to her feet. We see that her feet are bare and that blood has pooled beside her head. The absence of any attempt at first aid suggests that the woman is already dead. The artist presents the physical traces of the tragic event to the viewer while leaving the questions unanswered, almost asking the viewer to solve a possible murder. Now let's take a closer look at the details of the artwork. The figure lying on the ground, stretching from the background to the foreground, has virtually split the setting in two. The broken glass in the window of the house on the right, along with the bloodstains on the wall and on the ground, draw attention. The broken glass suggests that someone may have forced their way in or that a violent incident took place inside the house. The bloodstains also draw the viewer's attention toward the interior of the house. We see a total of 10 people, including one child, gathered in the courtyard where the body is lying. Including the child, there is no sign of sadness, anxiety, or fear on the faces of the figures. From the man who was speaking heatedly and extending his hand toward the woman lying on the ground, it is understood that he is explaining something about the incident. The figures, whose faces show no expression of pain, look on as if they were witnessing a familiar scene. Thus, the figures are depicted not as helpers, but as merely observers who watch what is happening with curiosity. The figure that makes us feel this most strongly is the child. Even the child is seen carefully examining the body, far from appearing worried or frightened. Judging by the reactions of the figures, we can conclude that this is not the first time they have encountered such a scene. The details in the artwork do not offer a clear explanation of how the female figure died. Her body position, extending from the background toward the foreground, suggests that she was trying to escape a struggle inside the house. Her bare feet support this interpretation. Looking at the clothing of the figures, it becomes clear that the weather is cold. While the others are dressed in long sleeves, the woman's short-sleeved dress suggests that the violence may have occurred inside the house. On the other hand, the woman may have committed suicide by jumping down from the upper floor. Her body position and the blood pooling on the ground also bring that possibility to mind. She may also have been the victim of a murder. In this possibility, the bloodstains on the doorstep and on the wall may belong to the killer. The fact that the courtyard where the incident took place is enclosed by high walls makes the space feel tight and claustrophobic. Thus, the courtyard reinforces the emotional impact that the incident leaves on the viewer. The clothing worn by the figures is far from elegant or new. It looks more like everyday attire. This detail suggests that the incident may have taken place in a poor neighborhood. Jakub Schikaneder, a Prague-born Czech painter, captured the spirit of 19th century Prague on his canvases by depicting melancholic atmospheres, dimly lit streets, and figures living on the margins of society. Schikaneder often explored themes of loneliness, poverty, death, and the bleak aspects of urban life in his works. In particular, the narrow and dark streets of Prague form a characteristic backdrop in his paintings. According to some researchers, the artist painted the scene inspired by a courtyard in Prague. Schikaneder's composition is carefully crafted to guide the viewer's eye across the scene. The figures arranged from the foreground to the background create a strong sense of depth for the viewer. The parallel lines created by the window, door, and walls also reinforce the perspective. The stones on the ground, which become more defined from the background toward the foreground, enhance the depth of the courtyard and draw the viewer's attention to the woman lying on the ground. Earth tones are predominantly used on the courtyard walls, the stones on the ground, and the clothing of the figures. Thus, the cold and neutral tones give the painting a sorrowful and somber atmosphere. The red tones used in the bloodstains and in the skirt of the woman lying on the ground intensify the dramatic effect. Schikaneder's art generally focuses on dark, dramatic, and tragic themes. The marginalized figures of everyday life take center stage in his paintings. The Prague streets illuminated by dim light are not merely settings, but also carriers of a particular state of mind. Schikaneder does not offer the viewer a direct answer in his paintings. His aim is to raise questions and leave the viewer alone with the emotional weight of the scene. In this painting, the artist asks not so much who is the killer as what does the witness feel? He deliberately leaves the event unexplained and invites the viewer to solve it. He directs the viewer's attention not to the possible murder, but to the reactions given to it. He places society's indifference toward a murdered woman at the center of the artwork. With this work measuring 203 by 321 centimeters, the artist presents the dead woman and the indifferent crowd around her on a scale that cannot be overlooked. This 1890 work is currently exhibited at the National Gallery in Prague.